Welcome back. I've been meaning to do this video for a while now, I just haven't gotten around to it. And after some serious writer's block this weekend, poof, I remembered there is something that I want to share with you guys. And although some of you have already heard of this game, I know many of you haven't, and I think it's important that it's at least discovered. So there's a new RPG in development, and guess what? It's also largely based on the 5th edition rule set from Dungeons & Dragons, just like our very own Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to start off telling you a bit about what this game is and who is making it, and then we'll get more into the gameplay details, like races and classes, and some of the story. But first I want to say thank you to a recent channel patron, Kevin McGuckin. Welcome to the channel, Kevin. Alright, let's talk Solasta, Crown of the Empire... Magister. Solasta Crown of the Magister is an upcoming turn-based tactical RPG that will be coming out for PC supposedly in the earlier parts of 2021. However, there will be an early access heading to Steam on October 20th of this year, less than a month away. Solasta should be out well before Baldur's Gate 3's official launch, so this might be a great game to play while we all fiddle our thumbs. It will be a single player game, however it's important to note that you will be controlling a party of 4. The company behind this project is called Tactical Adventures, and they are a video game development company that was formed in 2018 in the heart of Paris, France. They are a self-publishing studio that is aiming to create immersive and tactical video games within the RPG genre. One of their main goals is to recreate the feeling of a tabletop RPG through the faithful adaptation of rules and universes. They are currently a smaller studio of just 15 to 20 employees, and although this is the company's first game, the game devs are certainly not amateurs. When you compare this to companies like Larian Studios, who currently have 250 to 300 people working on a game, some of you might say, well, how the hell can a small studio compete with that? Well, first of all, I want to view this game as its own experience, and not just a comparison to Baldur's Gate 3. The games do share some similarities in terms of genre and rules and mechanics, but they are very different. Also, in my personal experience, one of my favorite games of all time was created by a team of 11. This is a game called Outward. Playing Outward really opened up my eyes as to what a smaller studio is capable of, and in many ways I think there are some benefits that go along with having a smaller, more tight-knit staff. After playing some of the Solasta demo, I knew right away that this company has potential to really capture a gamer's passion. And who knows, Tactical Adventures could very well be the start of the next Larian Studios, and I'm all about supporting that. A Kickstarter was launched for this game back in September 2019 and brought together over 6,000 fans, raising over $270,000 US. With this success, the company was able to expand the original scope of the project and add a significant amount of content. Kickstarters, when done right, really seem like a great way for companies to avoid publishers and still be able to afford to create the game that they want to truly create. Alright, now let's get into some of the good stuff, some details on the game itself. With the successful Kickstarter campaign, Tactical Adventures was able to obtain a limited license to use the Dungeons & Dragons rule set for their game. They did not get full lore permissions and everything like that, but instead were granted a license to use the Systems Reference Document 5.1 from Wizards of the Coast. The SRD 5.1 is an official document with all of the necessary rules to play, upon which Tactical Adventures will be building compatible Solasta content, such as some of the classes, subclasses, backgrounds, feats, spells, and plenty more. I'll put a link to this SRD 5.1 document below if any of you are interested in looking it over. And of course, the most important thing that so many people are always curious about are the classes and races that will be in the game. There will be 5 different races to choose from in Solasta, and also 6 sub-races. Humans, elves with the sub-race choices of High Elf and Sylvan Elf, Half-Elves, dwarves with the choices of Hill Dwarf and Snow Dwarf, and halflings with the sub-race choices of Island Halfling and Marsh Halfling. Solasta's world and setting is a completely new original fantasy setting, and although these races might share some statistic similarities to D&D, in terms of lore they will fit into the Solasta world versus fitting into, say, the Forgotten Realms. There will be 7 classes in the game, but only 6 initially. This includes Cleric, Rogue, Fighter, Wizard, Ranger, and Paladin, and the 7th class that will be available in a free DLC will be the Sorcerer. There will be 25 subclasses, or archetypes as we call them, some of which might feel familiar to D&D players, while many others are more homebrew. 3 more archetypes will come out with the free DLC that introduces the Sorcerer class to the game. In the Solasta demo, we got to see the Battle Domain for the Cleric class, the Dark Weaver Rogue, the Mountaineer Fighter, and the Shock Arcanist Wizard. And let me remind you, before anyone gets upset that they don't have your favorite race or class, remember that the company is using the limited license from Wizards of the Coast. They don't have the right to use everything that they want, so they are creating some new ones for us while trying to keep some things familiar. The cool thing is that many of these sub-races and subclasses are definitely not going to be in games such as Baldur's Gate 3, so it will be exciting to use these more unique ones, but still in a 5e rules setting. Also keep in mind the size of the studio and how important it is to focus on the quality of things versus quantity. In character creation, you will be choosing or rolling for stats in the D&D fashion: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. You will also be choosing deities, backgrounds, and skill proficiencies. Like in D&D, no one character can really excel in everything, so planning your crew well will be a big help in getting through the game's various challenges. Moving in Solasta will be grid-based, and each hero or enemy can move several tiles in any direction as dictated by their stats. There will be many elements of randomness in the game, whether from rolling for certain things in character creation to the hit or miss chances rolled behind the scenes while in combat. Those of you who are new to these dice system mechanics, just know that it is your job to set up your character for the best chances of success. However, it's not always guaranteed, and that's part of the fun. You never truly know how things might go, but with some skill, creativity, and good tactics, you can set yourself up for much better chances of success. Your characters in Solasta can die in combat, but there will be an option to revive fallen allies within settlements, or with certain character abilities. So there won't be permadeath, but death will still remain frustrating and something you don't want to happen all the time. In Solasta, you're going to be exploring ruins and dungeons for legendary treasure and learning the truth of an age-old cataclysm and trying to stop it from happening again. Like I said before, the world that Solasta takes place in is not a Dungeons & Dragons setting. It's an original new fantasy setting created by the developers. In this game, you'll be fighting monsters and squad-level turn-based tactical combat. The dynamic environment in this game will offer some interesting options to the players, such as collapsing bridges and leaving enemies stranded, or forcing walls and columns to collapse over the top of your opponents. The environment is important in this game, and it just may save you when all hopes seem to be lost. The cool thing about dungeons in Solasta is that they are much more than just flat levels. Instead, you and your party will be forced to climb, jump, and/or fly around obstacles. Before I end the video, let's quickly talk about some lore and the story behind this game, and I mean quickly because I'll likely save this for a video on its own in the future. But first, let me point out that there will be only one ending for this game. I know that might upset some of you guys, but just remember this is a really small studio compared to like Larian Studios, and creating multiple endings is a ton of work, so I think Tactical Adventures is really trying to focus on giving us a quality game with a solid ending. So basically, in this world, an ancient city of elves was wiped out from a cataclysm 1,000 years ago. The land where the city once stood is now known as the Badlands, and although it has been destroyed, there still remains much treasure and knowledge to be gained. Political alliances have been formed to ensure that one nation does not get easier access to all of this potential wealth over another, and a council was formed to ensure fairness for all nations and cities. However, contact was recently lost with the council's garrison at an important outpost, and you and your party have been sent to investigate, and what you discover will place the fate of the world in your hands. I left it pretty broad and kept it brief, but to be honest, I like the idea for the start of this story, with the Badlands and the political controversy over who controls them. It'll be interesting to see how this story turns out, and I'm already wanting to know what I'm going to discover. So that's the idea behind Solasta. I did get to play the demo, and overall it did impress me. The spells felt great, and it was really cool seeing some Dungeons and Dragons stuff in there. The movement felt good, the combat felt good. Although the one thing that was kind of off was the camera at times, for it did feel a bit wonky, especially when you're dealing with multi-layered dungeons. But overall, I was very impressed, and I think this game could give a great start for tactical adventures to make a debut entrance into the gaming industry in a genre that needs more attention. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's a huge help to my videos. I do all sorts of content on this channel, ranging from live streams to game reviews to game tutorials to lore videos and much more. I'd love to have some of you guys back on a future video. More Solasta content coming in the future, and of course Baldur's Gate 3. Until next time.